Hi, welcome back. If you have been anywhere around beauty internet in the last 2 years or so, I would say, you may have noticed that fragrances are coming out of our ears. There are fragrance launches everywhere. It feels like even brands that didn't have fragrances before are getting in on the game. And there's just a lot of general interest in fragrance. And of course, the category of fragrance, I feel like it's becoming even more expanded than it was before with the resurgence of body mist. You have brands like Sol de Janeiro being really, really popular in this category. And of course, for spring, summer, when we naturally want lighter things on our skin. But, fragrances are kind of a thing now. So I've been trying kind of a few of them. This summer alone, I've tried 10. I tried 10 fragrances this summer, which sounds like an astounding number of fragrances to try in a month and a half, but I've been busy. I've been busy over here. Some of it is thanks to purchasing a Sephora Favorites kit, and some of it is just samples that I collect by making purchases and whatnot. So it gives me the opportunity to try a bunch of different things and not necessarily stay with the same fragrance all the time, which I don't mind. I don't mind having a signature fragrance for a season, for sure. But it's also fun to figure out, would this be worth the full size or not? So that's kind of what we're gonna do today. If this is your first time here, thank you for joining me in my shenanigans with beauty. I have a lot of fun with it. I hope you do too. So before we get into the 10 fragrances and my thoughts on them, make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss anything that we do over here. Let's get started because we have a lot to talk about. Okay, so some of these fragrances came from the deluxe cologne sample set from Sephora Favorites that I bought a few months ago, and others are just samples that I got, and others are just like travel sizes that I purchased myself. There's only one gifted fragrances. There's only one gifted sample there. So let's start with the gifted sample. So I got this from Influenster, and it's the Love Don't Be Shy by Kilian. I feel like it's a very popular fragrance. I'll leave the notes here on the screen so that you can see them. This is a gripping fragrance. Like, this will catch people's noses. This will catch people's attention. It's really sweet and romantic, but has like a sexy vibe to it too. Very much a date night fragrance, a going out fragrance. I would say that you can wear this day and night, and you can see that I've kind of gone halfway through the sample, but it's definitely a fragrance where like people are going to keep coming back, and you are going to keep coming back because it's just, there's something comforting about it, but also very alluring that just makes it a really, really bad bitch fragrance to wear. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like date night when you want to feel really powerful, really sexy, but also like, come on over, you know what I mean? So yeah, I love that one. And it's gonna make it a 2 for 2 for me when it comes to Kilian fragrances, because I also have Angel Share and I love it. So definitely, I'm getting the idea of what Kilian is like, and I love it. I love it. I love it. My husband smelled this and he's like, no, come back. No, come back. Wait, come back. It smells so good. I smell this. I smell that. Like, he was trying to figure out exactly what he smelled like. For me, you do get a little bit of sweetness, some marshmallow. You do get a tiny bit of vanilla, I think. And there's like a little bit of a floral touch, but florals are definitely not the prevalent note here, in my opinion, which makes it a little bit more complex. It's definitely not your typical like sweet fragrance either. It has more to it, as you can see on the notes. Big favorite. I absolutely see either a travel size or a full size in my future, probably a travel size, because that's worked really well with Angel Share. So it's probably going to be like that 1 ounce. But yes, Love Don't Be Shy. Fame is absolutely warranted. It's really something. It's really, really something. Okay, next up, we're going to go actually with an empty, which is Gucci Flora Gorgeous Magnolia. So for my birthday present at Sephora, I picked up a Gucci cologne sampler. It's all like Gucci Flora in all its iterations. So I have Magnolia, which I've just finished. And I've also tried Jasmine this summer. I'll talk about Magnolia first, then Jasmine. And then, of course, Gorgeous Gardenia, which I think is like the more signature scent from the Flora product line. So You just saw I finished Magnolia. For me, it's a pretty straightforward floral, which I don't mind. I do like the smell of magnolias. I do like all of the other notes here. I do think that the floral notes in this product line are pretty strong and kind of come right at you. For me, it's a little bit harder to distinguish some of the others, and I go to that for a straight floral. Jasmine, on the other hand, I feel like the jasmine here is not as prevalent in the scent when it comes out. I feel like there are other things that come out a little bit more, but oh, see, it's there. It's a little bit of a powdery jasmine. So I think that I still have kind of like the way that Jasmine Neroli from the Seven Virtues is, and this is not like that. Jasmine Neroli is a little bit like more woodsy, more musky. This is more powdery, definitely more floral. And then Gorgeous Gardenia, again, same thing. Here are the notes, but it's a very straightforward floral. Not too powdery. I think that jasmine might be more powdery than gardenia. There's a little bit of sweetness in there and just a little bit of maybe spiciness, that it's like a tiny, tiny hint of something like pink pepper, but not super overpowering. Like, for example, I find the pink pepper in most Kayali fragrances really overpowering when it's one of like the higher notes. Like they had, Kayali has like a pink pepper, vanilla, something. I'll put a picture here so that you can see that one I didn't like because it was like all straight up pink pepper, and that's not my favorite. But here there's a tiny bit of something spicy that I can't quite put my finger on. That is like a more palatable way. If it were pink pepper, it's a more palatable way for sure to do it. So Gucci Flora, again, it's not for people that don't like florals, obviously. I don't mind florals. It's not like my top favorite. I think that would be vanilla. That would be that kind of vanilla gourmand. Not all gourmands. Vanilla. Okay, let's not get it twisted. But I really like floral fragrances. I would say that probably Miss Dior is my favorite floral fragrance because it is very simple, very like breezy and easy. And same with these ones. I would say between Magnolia, Gardenia, and Jasmine, I would say that my favorite is probably Gorgeous Gardenia. I don't know that I would buy a full size of any of them, but maybe a travel size because I do like it. Okay, I do like pretty much all three, but I think that Gardenia is the best one of all of them. Then again, it also might be that Gorgeous Gardenia is the fragrance that I remember the most because Jasmine and Magnolia are new for me. I've tried Gorgeous Gardenia before, so maybe that has something to do with it. What else? Okay, let's go with these two, which are the first time that I tried these brands. So first off, we have Layla Lou by Rosie Jane. I had never tried the brand before. This is the one that I have probably the strongest mixed feelings about because I feel like it's not quite what it says on the notes, like what it's expected from the notes. So you get a little booklet like this with the favorites kit. So this is supposed to be notes of pear, jasmine, and freshly cut grass, and feels like your favorite pair of blue jeans and white tee, sexy, casual, and everyday. Okay. Let me go ahead and disagree here. So first of all, I don't smell pear. I smell fig. I don't know how that happens, but I thought that there was going to be fig here because when I put it on straight away, that's the note that I get. To me, smells more like fig than pear. Maybe my nose is broken. I don't know. And then after that, I feel like whatever this floral is, it's really soapy. And it's a confusing scent for me. I'm wearing it right now. And to me, like, there's a jasmine note in there. I don't smell it at all. I don't smell the jasmine. It just smells soapy. It actually reminds me of the Clean Reserve Pure Soap, which I did not like. But I don't know. I'm going to try it in like the much warmer climate of the Middle East and see if it smells any different to me. But I have strongly mixed feelings. Let's just say that. Then the other one that is a new brand for me is, well, actually there's another one, is the Not a Perfume from Julia Has a Gun. I'm about halfway through this little vial. This is very interesting. It's one of these molecular perfumes that only has one note. And I don't think I had ever tried a perfume like this before, but it's interesting. It's one of those things where like, you're not quite sure what you smell like, but it's not bad. It's like, it smells like you, but different. I don't really know how to explain it, but I don't mind it. Like, to me, sometimes it smells just like clean and kind of like herby, but sometimes it smells a little bit more floral. It changes pretty much every time I've tried it. So it makes it a really interesting perfume. And I feel like this could be one that could be a good perfume to wear if you want to wear perfume and you're in a place where maybe perfume is not a great idea, or where you're going to be around people with allergies or something like that. That could maybe be a good option. Would I buy the full size? I don't know. I would maybe buy a travel size, because I think a travel size is pretty reasonable. I don't know if this is the size of the travel size, but yeah, it's an interesting perfume for sure. If you want something like really uncomplicated and simple, I think that one would be really good. Then, well, you saw in my makeup show and tell video that I chose Burberry Goddess as the fragrance that I redeemed for that favorite set. This is the small sample, and I also have the 1 ounce, but I'll probably use this one first. Burberry Goddess is a pretty interesting vanilla. It's slightly more complex, I would say, than other vanillas on the market, which is part of the reason why I chose it. Great lasting power. And you know, it's a warm-ish vanilla, I would say, but not just straight up vanilla. Like, it doesn't smell like marshmallow or cotton candy or anything like that. It reminds me a bit of Dolce & Gabbana, The Only One, except that this doesn't have anything like coffee or anything like that, which that one does. This one's more warmer floral vanilla, which I really, really appreciate, because I feel like it's one that is really easy to make a signature scent. So expect that I will be wearing it quite a bit in the next few months, because I really, really like it. I love vanillas, and that combination of like vanilla with a little bit of floral, awesome. Love it for me. Love it, love it, love it. Then we have 2 fragrances from Flora. Very popular house right now. I have Missing Person and Not Your Baby. So let's talk about Missing Person first. So Missing Person is, again, one of those fragrances that is kind of more like, it's gonna smell like the person that puts it on. It's one of those like kind of skin scents, which I think is kind of becoming a thing for Fleur. And I mean, not bad. This is one where at first I was like, oh, this is gonna be another strongly mixed feelings one, but no, I actually like it. I do think that it has a little bit more of a defined scent than Not a Perfume, because this actually has other notes, as you can see here. But I do feel like every time I wear it, it smells different. It is one that I've enjoyed wearing to bed lately. So after a nice shower, just getting with your comfortable clothes, or like your lounging clothes for just being at home, especially if you know that you're gonna cuddle with your partner in the sofa, this is a really nice one to wear. And again, it's a perfume that I think is really inoffensive to people that might be a little bit more sensitive to fragrance or don't have a great sense of smell, etc. I would maybe suggest this one. I don't know if this is the travel size. I think it might be. I would buy this again, because it's just different. It's just different. There's some woodsiness here too, just a little bit, not too much. It's not too woodsy, but it kind of helps build that comforting sensation when you smell it, and kind of that like, it smells, it smells like your clothes, or, in the best possible way, or like the side of the bed that you sleep on. I think that that's kind of what it's supposed to smell like. So I've really enjoyed that one. Not Your Baby is more of a straight floral. Here are the notes. I mean, almost every note here is either a floral or a spice. Only on the base you have vanilla milk and sandalwood. Everything else is florals, and I like florals. Okay, I'm a simple girl. I like florals. This one's really, really nice. I would say that overall, it's one where I'm not sure that you can completely smell every single note. I think that that's something that just takes practice, and I'm not an experienced perfumist. Sorry, it was getting kind of hard to get out of here. This is the travel size of Not Your Baby. So I think that Flora travel sizes are this size instead of the smaller one that I showed you. Ooh, very floral. Absolutely very floral. Yeah. So top note, cardamom, bergamot. Bergamot, yes. Cardamom, I can't quite smell it. But I do think that the violet is pretty prevalent on this one, I think. Vanilla milk is not, it's just a much softer vanilla than anything else. This is one that is definitely for the floral girlies. I really, really like it. And I think that the name is really appropriate because florals we really associate with the sweet, good girl. But this one has a little bit more because it has that bergamot and has the sandalwood. So it has a little bit more. So yeah. And of course, with that phrase, I can't help but think of the scene of The Devil Wears Prada where Anne Hathaway is leaving Simon Baker's room and she's like, I'm not your baby. Can't help it. Can't help it. I don't know if that would be the fragrance that she would be wearing in this scene. Maybe, actually, considering what that character was like. Last but not least, Miami Nectar by Ellis Brooklyn. This one, once you spray it, you do get straight up pineapple. It's a Mai Tai. The first thing you smell is like, oh, it's a Mai Tai. First thing that you smell. So if you like those kinds of sweet gourmands, if you like those sweet gourmands that have a fruity scent, this is going to be a really fun for you. But it also has kind of a fresh, clean element that makes it, very appropriate for spring, summer. Something that, if you're out having an outdoor meal or you're at the beach club or whatever, this one would be a really appropriate one to wear. So I'm probably going to be wearing this one more heavily. Definitely has lemon on it. I'm going to be wearing this more heavily in the next couple of months. So during August and September, before the weather starts changing. But I really, really like it. It's my first fragrance from Ellis Brooklyn, and I'm definitely curious to try more. I know that they have discovery sets as well. So I'm going to keep my eye out on that. Let's see. Do I have a favorite out of all of these? I don't know that I have a favorite. My least favorite is definitely Layla Lou by Rosie Jane. That's definitely my least favorite. I don't know that I have a top favorite. I mean, Burberry Goddess, I liked enough to get this as my redeemed fragrance from the favorites set. So that says something. I really like that one. But vanilla is my favorite thing to smell in a perfume. So it's natural. I would say that my top favorites are the Burberry Goddess, Love Don't Be Shy by Kilian, absolutely, and Missing Person from Flora. I think that either one of those three would be worth trying. And it's interesting that between those, you have designer, niche, and what I'm going to call new fragrance wave. New fragrance wave, because I feel Fleur and Ellis Brooklyn and by Rosie Jane and all those guys are kind of in the similar vibe of trying to make different fragrances. I think the Seven Virtues also goes in that group, but it shows that the way that fragrances are thought of, I think, is changing a little bit. I think that there's this democratization of fragrance in a way, not in prices, because I feel some of these are still quite expensive, and the fact that a travel size is $35, sometimes more in some cases. No, not necessarily making fragrances more affordable, although you do have some affordable fragrance houses like Finery that could be interesting to try. But the fact that there's this sheer amount of variety and different houses that are only fragrances and other fashion brands, designer brands, makeup brands, etc., going into that space, it does speak to the fact that, there's a high interest in this particular beauty category, and we're probably gonna continue seeing more. So more things to try, more opportunities for you to find your signature fragrance. So hopefully You can do that in the future and maybe find something new that you love. Are there any of these that I showed you, any of these 10 that are your favorites? Let me know in the comments. And if you've been trying any new fragrances, also let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. And maybe that'll be my next sample or my next travel size. So for me, the way that this goes, like to try new fragrance, I think that things like Sephora Favorites kits are a great way to go, especially if you get to redeem for something. Just check the value of what you're going to redeem, that it makes up for what you paid for the kit. So Sephora Favorites, I love for trying new fragrances. Also, when I make a Sephora order, I try to make one of my 2 samples a fragrance. Birthday gifts, I usually try to get a fragrance one if I can. I've gotten Nest New York in the past and I have some favorites from that line. And then I think that trying travel sizes is also a great way to also rotate and trying them in different circumstances, different climates, etc., if that's important to you, so that you can really see how the fragrances perform. But I've had a lot of fun trying fragrances, and I still have 3 of my Sephora Favorites kit that I haven't tried. I still have Gucci Bloom to go. I still have Lychee Rose from Nest New York to go. And I have Good Girl from Carolina Herrera to go. And then I also got a sample of like a mini of Good Fortune by Victor and Rolf. So those are going to be the next fragrances that I try. But for now, I have a lot to work with. I have a lot to enjoy in the next few months. So in a few months, when I've gone through some of these, then you will see my thoughts on those 4 others that I just mentioned that I haven't gotten to. What about you? Tell me about you. Do you like fragrances? What's your favorite note? What's your favorite house? What's your signature fragrance if you have one? Again, I would love to hear from you in the comments, because fragrance is something that I've always enjoyed, but definitely I'm getting more into it now. And, you know, my husband also loves fragrances, so he also loves to try new fragrances. And we've had a lot of fun with that this summer with these sampler sets that we got. So those are my thoughts on the 10 fragrances that I've tried this summer. I would love to see you again in another video over here. And I hope that you are having a wonderful day wherever you are. Bye-bye.